Dumelang batho ba Mzansi ra le amogela gape mo lenaneong la rona la Rise. Kajeno re bua ka makunutu, secrets. Later on, we're going to have Sis Dolly in the studio. She has been at the forefront of advising people on private matters for decades. But before we speak about other people's secrets, I think it's important that we start with ours. Hello, my co-host. Tell me, what is your secret that you have not shared before, perhaps, on this very public platform that you would be willing to share with us?
I have to pick a naughty one, actually.
Okay.
No, it's a small thing, but from primary school. Okay, listen, in primary school, like Afrikaans, like, on a serious note, Afrikaans was difficult.
You know, Chwatla.
No, yes, like, then trap. So then, I happened to be fortunate enough one day to sit next to someone who's Afrikaner, a learner who's Afrikaner, during a test. And Nina Van As, I just want to say thank you.
So, ukopile, basically.
Ukopile the whole test.
Okay, but how old were you?
I was like 12 years old.
Okay, so 6 years ago. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Look, but on a serious note, I think there are secrets that we consciously know. Gore ke sephiri sa gago. Mara gona le tse ding tse ileng gore le wena ka bo wena it strikes you at a later time. Gore you've harbored the secret. Ka gonne ke the way that secret e go controlang ka yona.
Sure.
You know, I never really believed I was pretty. And I think for me it was reinforced when I lost my hair at 18 to alopecia. And it's funny because very recently the house I live in is the very first house that has a full-length mirror. I'm in my 40s now. In all that time, I've never been able to look at myself in a full-length mirror.
Wow.
And it's only now, through a lot of processes, including being involved in Rise, when I realized what a shame I carried about how I looked. I mean, it's amazing.
But you're this CEO, confident woman who gives advice, right? So you would never imagine that
then
would
I
be your
told
thing.
myself, for skolo, the brain, see everything, it'll be territory. Buntle baka as mosadi is not gonna even feature. And I must say, I think it influenced even the relationships I went into.
Sure.
And it's amazing right now when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, whoa,
Look at you.
so pretty. But I could never get myself to that place. And if I had not been involved in this project, I don't think I would have even arrived there. And I think I would have even gone to my grave not believing that.
Okay, I'm going to share my secret. It's a big one. It's not funny. The reason I'm choosing to do it is because I think it's actually happened to most of us in South Africa. Well, certainly to most black women, but also to young black men. And that is being sexually abused by somebody, by a relative, when you are under 10 years old. And I realized it's like, but why can't I say that? Because it's shameful. Well, for a long time, I carried that shame and I made it my problem inside. It's affected how I relate to men. It's how I relate to myself. My physical body, which I used to cover up significantly when I was growing up, because I thought it was my body that was the problem. Like, I remember walking in Kotropong of all places, and somebody out in are more the private parts. And I'm not talking maraho, a total stranger. And so I grew up hating my body, not unlike you. Not because I had anything wrong with it in particular, but because I felt like it was bringing me an attention that I did not want. I know most of us in this country, and people of all races for that matter, and let's cut the shame. It's not your fault, it's not my fault, and I'm done with the shame. So I declare on the show, Rise, the culture of secrecy has to die. And part of it, and why I hope everybody else will find their own secrets about telling secrets and why it's important to talk about them, is to free yourself. It's to free yourself. I refuse to take ownership of the abuse that happened to me that I wasn't responsible for.
The one thing that I always want to do is just to make sure that I am open enough. And not everybody is going to find me approachable. But at least, makube no muntu oyi-1 or about 2, or at least abantwana bam, abangeza kimi bathi, you know what, we want you to know this. ngoba imfihlo, you know, it's such a, it weighs you down so much. You know, it weighs you down so much to be carrying something. And one thing I've realized about sharing and being open is that it is literally you share your weight, and you also find that so many people understand.
Here's a question that I have. Would you keep a friend's secret even if telling would save their lives?
I think what's important is who you're telling the secret to. I wouldn't tell anybody that is directly, you know, related to her or somebody that she engages with. I think I would tell the secret to somebody who's willing to help, if it's possible to help. You know?
The only problem, though, and I learned this because I mean, that should be my middle name, is that sometimes it then ends up becoming your problem.
Yes.
You know, and ulebella batho ba bang o re hao mara ga se wena o nsogetseng wa tlomplelela ka taba e e feleletsa e le taba ya gago ngeseng isikhathi you and Khomoso have moved on, you know.
Right.
But it also becomes my problem the moment I'm told, though.
Not necessarily. It does, of course, it becomes your problem.
It becomes mine.
But did anybody ask you to do something for them?
But Khomoso,
it is not for mine to tell.
You know what? I think I've reached the end of the road. I'm going to kill myself tonight.
Of course, I'm going to do something if you say you're going to kill yourself. Because I think that is a cry for help. If somebody says, I think they're saying, please intervene. Whereas if you tell me that I'm having a child with my partner, but it's actually not his kid, that's not for me to tell.
But what if the partner is your friend? So
I don't think that's for me to tell. That's all I've got to say about it. Anyway, on that interesting note, we'll be right back after the commercial with Sis Dolly. Don't go away.
Namukelekile futhi. Through her print column and online platform, our guest has responded to anonymous questions for decades, ranging from infidelity to incest. Welcome to the show, Sis Dolly.
Thank you very much.
Now, before we talk to you, we did a little experiment of our own. We visited East London, and we asked a group of girls to write their secrets anonymously on a piece of paper. And as the secret was read out loud, we asked others to basically just give advice. So before we chat, let's just take a look.
Namhlanje into sizoyenza sizoncokola nge-secrets. We all have secrets, don't we? Ndafumana umntana ndisemncinci ndayeka isikolo ngoku ndifuna ukubuyela esikolweni andinamali yokugqibezela esikolweni.
Ndandicebisana ngaye esikolweni phaa ufuna ukuya kwi-FET ndake ufuna ibhasari because zikhona ibhasari zine-scholarship.
Ndareyithwa ndina-10 years yi-cousin brother yam and kuthiwa izobuya etrongweni ndiyoyika ingathi kukho into anondenza yona. Ndathi ndina-10 years old ndadlwengulwa ngumalume wam. Ngoku loo nto ayiphumi kum xa ndimbona. Back when I was young, I was abused by my sister's grandmother. I'm not her only victim. Even my mother was abused by her. She is still scared of her, but I'm not. I feel like I can kill her. If I'm given an opportunity to kill her, I would jump for it. I know it's wrong, but I hate her enough to kill her. If somehow no one stops me, I will kill her.
Benza uthetha ukuba makaqale kufamily yakhe before abheke emapoliseni. Umhlambi angakholelwa umhlambi angangakholelwa kokwabo.
Abanezimo sabantu endlini yabangelana naye. Ukhona laqonda abana uyavana naye, athethe naye. Yabo, and then after ethethe naye abone bana if bana zabo zawuthina umnyethelo wabo. Yabo, and then incede ne-counseling.
Generally, nifilisha njani now that secrets zenu nizikhuphile out in the open? Sancokola ngazo.
Ndibhetele laqala.
Zingcono kunakuqala. Uyazi uba uzakwenza ntoni.
Ndiziva ngathi ikhona into esokileyo beyindisenda apha emagxeni ngoku ingathi iwile. Ndiziva ndikhaphukhaphu.
I do hope that as suggestions besinazo apha zizawusebenzisa.
In this session, out of 8 girls, 5 secrets were about abuse, 2 were about paternity, and 1 about the supernatural. Sis Dolly, what are some of the toughest secrets that you have heard?
So those would be very similar to that. So people talking about abuse, 100%. That's probably the hardest one, and abuse a lot of the time by umzali or an uncle or somebody that's very close to them when they were younger, and what to do about that.
Are we talking about sexual abuse here, or are we talking about physical abuse?
So yeah,
Both
good
of them.
question. Good question. Mostly sexual abuse. That's exactly. So that's what people write in about largely. The physical, often when it's older women, not the younger so much. But I'm in an abusive relationship. How do I get out? What are my choices? And those sorts of things. Often older women, but the sexual abuse much younger.
What is the historical significance of the Sistoli column?
You know, recently I was saying, and I'll give you the long answer. I was saying how, for me, one of the things that makes me sad about the Sistoli column is how many people write to Sistoli. So there's the number of letters, the volumes of Abantu writing into Sistoli, which means really that there's no one in the community to support them. We don't have those structures. We're not able to support each other, which is why this program and the initiative, I think, is so important.
What I want to know is, how does it make you feel? Do you ever read a problem and wish, oh my goodness, I wish I could do something?
Absolutely. And the thing is that you don't know a person's context. So I know some of the textbook responses, and then I have to read between the lines and say, okay, so what are some of the things this person could be going through that they're not putting in this letter? And how do I talk to, okay, so here are the different things that you can do, but always it's about, you know, making empowered choices. That has to be my standard response. So how are you making a choice that serves you?
Some people were encouraged, for an example, in HIV, disclosed is good for you. And we know Gugu Dlamini was killed, and I'm not saying it will happen to everybody. But in your work, do you ever feel like I'm carrying such a huge responsibility by just giving the advice?
So I always start with questions. Well, not always, but a lot of the time it's, okay, so what is your context? What is it you can do? Within this thing, what are some of the things you can do? Who can you talk to? Can you tell your parents this? What are the possible outcomes? What are the things that could potentially happen if you do reveal this? And then how would you then be able to handle it? And absolutely the burden. I'm just like, oh, Nkosiyam, I have no idea what their thing is, what it is. So absolutely. So very cautious in terms of just do it this way or the other way.
Why is it that batho ba bantsho Sistoli re na le so much shame as it's attached to sexuality?
And for Mina, that's one of the things, well, my theory certainly as to HIV and our inability to stem that. Because of this, when we talk about sex, it's a shameful thing. Until we can get rid of that, and I think it is the Christian background, or just societal, you know, cultural, I'm not sure. Because siyayenza lento, right? It's not sonke zikhona.
Siyayenza sonke, you know. Well, most of us.
But I think
right, siyafila at the very least, yeah.
the other thing for me is communication, because I think what makes it hard, especially emakhaya, ukuthi mhlambe ukhulume nomuntu omdala or an adult, is the fact that there is not just general communication.
Right.
Asikhulumi neingane zethu.
Like, even
So
so
where do you
talking
start?
to your mom about sex, and actually, is that not the best person to talk to you about your first sexual experience?
Well,
it's taking place at 16 or
if her
20.
sexual experience was awkward, then maybe she's not the person you must go.
Maybe not, but I mean, it should be ideally somebody, your mother should be the person who tells you how to enjoy sex.
But it starts with communication.
Yes,
You know, you
without
can't
that.
start today by saying, from today we are communicating, so have you had sex? You know, you must have built it in such a way that your child knows they can come to you about
sex.
anything.
Yeah.
Then they'll come to you about sex.
Yeah.
So I
And
have
even if
two-
you are shocked, just act normal.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I was going to say, I have two boy children, and today when I say things to them, and I talk about the abuse thing, so just be clear about not or no means no, etc. And they'll say to me, Mom, you've told us already, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm going to tell you again,
Right.
because you must hear it and you must know it, and it must be second nature in terms of it must be part of your DNA, all of this stuff, because they must know.
Absolutely. Good. All right. Morago ga papatso, Sistoli o tlo araba dipotso tse re kileng ra di kgobokanya from around the country. We'll be right back.
Re a le amogela gape. Pele ga papatso, ne re bua le Sis Dolly about the nature of her advice column. We have letters from Rise Young Women's clubs around the country, which we will read. Ebe Sis Dolly will respond to some of them.
Right, Sis Dolly, here's letter number 1. I'm a 20-year-old girl and very sexually active. Though I don't go out a lot and socialize much, I have slept with over 15 men. I easily fall in love with men and have sex with them, but after 2 months, I find them disgusting and boring for no reason. I have never truly experienced true love in my life. Whenever a guy loves me more than I do, I find him boring. I am always after men who don't truly love me. I wish I could be in a committed relationship, but I can't stand being bored. Please help. I'm really tired of being a sex addict and feeling cheap. Sis Dolls, that's for you.
Yeah, we pendula kanjani leyo Sis Dolly.
Firstly, we need to love ourselves, right? And I know people always say that and throw it around and it seems so glib, but that's the truth.
It really does seem to just like, oh, you want to roll your eyes. Right?
So because also, and the reason I always say that to people as well, they're not necessarily in this context, is that if you don't and people treat you in a particular way, you are allowing that. I'm fascinated that she doesn't go out a lot, but then these encounters are all sexual relationships. So how do you go from, I don't go out, so is it every time some man shows an interest in you that you then take it totally to that next step and that level?
But would you say there's another history that she's probably not talking about? Because for me, the curiosity is, where did she learn that in order to please a man, you must just sleep with them? You know,
I was thinking about something a little different. Also, like it had more to do with how do you know you're a sex addict? Because she says she gets bored. Is it bored with the sex? Is it the urge that keeps her making this decision?
Okay,
or is it something about trying to fill a role, maybe? Anyway, let's move on to another letter.
Yeah.
When I was 6 years old, I remember being raped. I do not have a clear memory of the incident, and I don't feel like a virgin. I'm afraid to tell people closest to me, and I don't know what to do.
So what's important here is how old this person is, yeah? Because that also influences what is available for you in terms of who you can go and ask. Because at a particular age, you're very much dependent on teachers, mostly parents, and those resources in terms of telling people. Because you can't then get to the next external childlines or your power or whoever it is to get the counseling that you need, because you need the assistance of a parent or a teacher. And my wish, I guess, my hope is that there's always one person that people have, just one person who can hold and carry, that they can trust, that they can give this thing to, who will help them then get to the next person or level or next level of assistance or support.
Here's another one. I am a young woman dating an older man. I was 16 years old when I first had sex with him. He always treats me like a sex object and makes me do sex styles that I am not comfortable with. I am always in pain because I'm not used to the things that he does, but I love him.
Hey. Love is a problem. This is when love is a problem.
Is love a problem, or are older men prying on young girls the problem?
That is a big problem. And young girls thinking that this kind of abuse is love.
You know what I mean?
It's a bigger problem. Sis Dolly, we're answering our own question. We are so forward, but anyway.
No, it's fun. And so what I always say with abuse, the issue with abuse, is we must always remember is that the underlying factor, the thing that brings two people together, is love. So you were talking about then pain and hurt or whatever, but on the basis of a love relationship. And I always say in terms of women abuse, so, and how the judgment and why don't people leave and that sort of thing.
Yes.
So if you love somebody, you are always hoping that that will change, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I want this to be different because I love this person. I want to
fall in love with again.
I want to be with
obviously
them.
with this
And
letter
then
and
it
what
doesn't
level
change.
you referred to
Right.
earlier is the imbalance that is created
So then-
by an intergenerational relationship where if you're 25 years old and you're dating a 50-year-old, field, of course he's going to be the one who's running the amok, and whatever he prefers is going to be the norm versus what you want as a younger person.
100%. And I'm not even beginning to, because this is just not on. Not on any
on any level.
Not on any level.
So if you are listening, whoever it is that wrote or watching, whoever it is that wrote this, it's like, no, that's not a relationship. That's not love. Absolutely. And you have to run away as far from it as possible.
That's
okay. Here's another one. I'm a 26-year-old who started dating at a very young age. I fell pregnant and contracted HIV. I have regrets and I don't know how to deal with this anymore.
The reality is that this is your context. This is your reality. This is something that you are living every single day. The choice is to find ways to be able to feel supported within this context and find ways that will help you, I guess, look forward and build into a future, regardless of what that future will be.
How do you walk people through that process and make them understand they mustn't be so hard on themselves? It's like, it's okay when some days you're not feeling that great 100%. About the situation.
Sure.
And that's how. It's to say, so this is a process. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Be patient with yourself and walk the steps. And it's not going to be easy. What I always say is it's not an easy thing. The advice is not, this is a quick fix and it's easy. But it is always possible.
Yes.
Yeah? It's possible to get to another side.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's always a journey.
Sis Dolly, thank you so much.
I'm sorry,
Thank you very much for joining us. Re leboga le lona ma Africa ko le leng teng. And a special thank you to the young women who are joining us in studio today. And may you have the courage and resolve to live more fulfilling lives. If you have something to share that's weighing you down, you can contact Sis Dolly on info@sisdolly.com. Remember to share your thoughts with us on Twitter, Mixit, and Facebook. Hey, see you next week. Woof, woof.